Tami Fitzgerald leads the North Carolina Values Coalition, and you're a supporter of House Bill 2. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Kelly.
Well, there's no shortage of editorials out there regarding HB2. How should North Carolinians perceive this piece of legislation, which is now law?
Well, House Bill 2 just restores common sense to the state of North Carolina because it requires that men use the men's restroom and locker room and women use the women's restroom and locker room. It protects the safety and privacy of all of our citizens as well as businesses.
What would the Charlotte ordinance have done, and how could it have affected other towns outside of Charlotte since the state came in and overrode the ordinance to nullify it?
Well, the way the Charlotte ordinance was written, it basically prohibited sex-specific bathrooms. So if you maintained a business or a public accommodation, which is any place open to the public, you could no longer maintain a women's bathroom and a men's bathroom because it was written in a fashion that took out an exception for bathrooms and locker rooms and showers. But beyond that, the Charlotte ordinance would have impacted businesses who contract with the city of Charlotte, requiring them to adopt internal HR policies favoring the LGBT community. And really it was an overreach by government, a local government, into the business community, not just around the state, but around the country. And so any business that contracted with the city was impacted by the ordinance, but as well as their bathrooms. Their bathrooms were impacted too.
The branding has always been about the bathroom bill, and the perception is the dirty old man will use the law to go into the girl's bathroom and peek or do whatever it is you do. And that's the way I've perceived this at its most, I guess, most descriptive. Is that accurate? What would have happened in Charlotte had they gone to gender-neutral bathrooms? Would it have been the Wild West in that term?
Well, we have examples from around the country where we have these laws in place where that's happened. Just last month in the state of Washington, a man entered the shower room at a public bathroom facility and began to undress while he was watching young girls on a swim team undress and go to the showers. And when he was approached, he said that he had the right to be there. The law in Washington had changed. We had this happen just last week or the week before in just outside of Washington, D.C. at the Potomac Mills Mall, where a man stuck a camera up under a bathroom stall. So voyeurism is a topic that they don't like to talk about on the other side, but it is happening. There's a video on the web that shows hundreds of cases where men have dressed as women just for the purpose of going into a woman's bathroom or locker room where they harm them, sexual assault, even murder in some cases.
Those people are criminals, and they're using the law to break another law. What about folks out there who genuinely identify, they may have been born a male, but they identify as a female and vice versa? What's the socially conservative argument to accommodating them?
Well, you know, it's hard to create a law where the enforcement is based on feelings and not facts. And that's what the Charlotte ordinance did. Now, what House Bill 2 does is accommodate those people by allowing private businesses around the state to provide a third option, a bathroom that is a single stall facility made just for people who don't feel comfortable in a multi-stall bathroom. And that is a reasonable accommodation, and that's what House Bill 2 does.
So you're talking about a bathroom. I see these bathrooms called family bathroom. A
Yes.
man or a woman can use it, but lock the door behind you or someone will walk in on you.
Right.
That's what this is. That's what you're saying this is about.
That's free. The business owners are free under House Bill 2 to create that type of situation. What House Bill 2 did was protect the freedom of business owners not to be forced to allow men into the women's bathroom and women into the men's bathroom. This, by the way, created liability on the part of the business owner, but not the city of Charlotte.
Well, Ms. Fitzgerald, thanks so much for sharing your time, a few minutes with us to discuss your side of the issue. It's a hot issue. I'm sure we'll be seeing it again this legislative session.
Well, thank you. It's just about common sense, really.